Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Bitcoin Moneymaker. Today we're going to be looking at different things. I'm sorry if I sound a little tired. I was awake until very late in the evening. In fact, because of everything that was happening with the crypto markets, I had a live stream on the German channel, and that is the reason why today I might not be so awake. But in any case, we're going to be looking first, of course, at Bitcoin and also at what happened with Luna and USDT, and also talk a little bit about that as far as what were the reasons for what happened yesterday. But here you can see on the daily chart we had a correction of just about 40%. I mean, it's 39.8, so we can round it up, and we're looking at about $18,000 worth of value loss. We went back down to retest this previous low down here. Just a little, we dipped a little under $30,000, and then we, as you can see, we quickly bounced from there. A lot of buyers came into the market, and now we see a little bounce here. But don't get happy too quickly, because after a correction like the one that we have here, it's very, very typical that the price can go back up to try and retest the EMA ribbons up here, and then go back down to retest the previous low, and hopefully from there maybe and just maybe build a double bottom and then take off from there. And that will be similar to what happened previously here on the left, as you can see. In fact, if we zoom in a little, there's something interesting, and that is, yes, we had this massive sell-off candle, but then followed by a huge bounce in the price. So here it's interesting. Maybe the same situation could happen, but you can see we have a huge candle, about $4,000 worth. And it'll be interesting to see if Bitcoin manages now to go over this area and at the very least, go back over the important EMA ribbons up here. Currently, we are trading at $32,570 more or less at the time of recording this video. Last night we had a bounce of about $2,000, a little more than that. And if we now go over and have a look at the 4-hour chart, and here we can see something more detailed, and that is, as you can see, yesterday after the drop, and I drew some important levels here for you guys to see. After the drop, we had again this bounce. We recovered from a little under, $29,730. That's as low as we went, and then the price went up from there. And the situation here is has to deal with the volume. How much volume went in yesterday is very similar to this other moment in time here in December 21st. Of 2021, where we also saw a big drop. You see this wick, this massive wick here, this candle, where the volume again was relatively high, and then you see a sideways phase after that, and then a drop once more. Also a similar situation, again, regarding the amount of volume with a candle like this also took place here on the 25th of June of the same year. And so here it is. That's where we are at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I personally think that from here the price is going to go up a little more, maybe a couple of $1,000 more, just because it would be very lucrative for the market makers right now to push the price back up. You can see in this high block graphic, we see all the short positions here at the top, the equivalent to how many short positions leverage is. And that is $50 billion worth of short positions right now. So you can see there's a lot of potential here, a lot of honey for the money makers to come back and at least try and maybe bring the price back up to quickly to $38,000, and then maybe push the price back down again. So you see, this is this game that is continually being played over and over again, and we've seen this happen all throughout the recent months and years almost when it comes to the cryptocurrencies. And this is almost the joke of it all. I mean, you see the market makers push in this situation, push the price down to attract new short positions, attract more liquidity, and then they'll move the price back up most likely. Now let's go over and take a look, closer look at what also is happening on the 15-minute chart. You can see here, and I talked about this in the late live stream that I had yesterday. We have this situation here where we are once again climbing above the EMA reference on the 15-minute chart. I talked about this line here at 31,811, where I say we have to stay above this line, otherwise the price is going to come back down, and that's what did happen, unfortunately. But then you can see that later the price went back up, and currently we also went over this line over here at $32,400 more or less, $400 more or less, excuse me. And this is not really a long-term analysis. This is more for the day traders that want to come into the market and get out within a day. So very interesting here, of course. Now we are getting closer to our 200 EMA line here on the 15-minute chart. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. If we move over to the 1-hour chart, you see we are getting closer to the 50 EMA line, one that for a couple of days already we have not really even touched. So also interesting to see how Bitcoin will react when we touch this line, or if we even manage to do it. So you do have to be careful not to enter in FOMO. A lot of people will come into the market thinking, Bitcoin is gonna go up from here, and then that's very dangerous as well. So I can only tell you, be very, very careful with this. And sure, the price might go up from here. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we do go up and then we see what it would be. We go up to the 100 EMA line, then go back down, retest our previous low, and then form a double bottom. That's of course a possibility that's there. But right now the economy, which is looking still very, very bad. In June, of course, the interest rates are going to be raised again. So that also is going to have an impact in the economy as well. And right now, I really don't think we are out of the woods yet. Of course, if once we get above $40,000 and we stay above $40,000, then we could say, okay, now we get a period of relative calm. But between now and then, everything's still very, very unstable. And speaking of unstable, let's look at Luna, because we have to take a look at what happened here. You can see here on the left, we have Luna was trading at around 66 cents, and then you see a drop that brings the price down to 24 cents more or less. And not only that, excuse me, but you also have then UST. UST is the stable coin that Luna created. It sounds almost like USDT. And also here you see a massive drop in the value, something that's haven't really seen when it comes to stable coins. You see this huge drop in the price, and I'm interested to hear from you guys what you think, if Luna will be able to recover from this ever. And this is really something that should not happen. And what's going to happen, I think, here is there's going to be calls for a lot of regulations to come in to this sort of thing, because, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear about this, but I think it needs to be regulated, because this is really not okay. This is not meant to be the way that it's become in the last couple of days. So let's go over here and take a look. You have, of course, this consolidation that took place here before the drop in the price for the for the coin. And you have a similar drop over here for this stable coin. Now, if we go over here and look at what the news says here, you can see this article. They said, well, a couple of days ago, at the beginning of May, or I think it was the 8th of May, and we can look at the chart later, already they invested $1.5 billion in so they could try and stabilize the UST stable coin. And that's something that initially did what it was supposed to do, did bring some stability to the coin. We can see that here. If we zoom in, let's move over to to the upside here. And you can see here, so already on the 8th of May, you see this big drop, something that's not meant to happen with a stable coin. And then, they invested the money. Then that helped bring some stability to the price. However, still was at 0.99 cents, something that's not meant to happen, because a stable coin is meant to be the equivalent of $1. So one stable coin should be $1. With a little bit of difference, which is normal, but it should be very, very stable. But that's not what we have here. And then, of course, you see after that the price completely plummeting and going way, way down. Now let's have a look at an article that explains a little what drove Luna to be in the situation that it's in right now. And that is, there was this guy called Do Kwon, or however you pronounce his name, who made a bet saying that those, or against those who said that the mechanism that or the technology behind Luna was not going to collapse if a big amount of money was drawn out of the market. So that was the bet that he made. So so in public he said no, this is never going to happen. This is impossible, and that's what he did. So now, on the other hand, the people who were betting against him were arguing that Terra was going to collapse if there was a big amount of money that was withdrawn out of the system all at once. So yesterday, an unknown person hasn't been identified yet. And by the way, this Don Kwon is the CEO of Terra, so very important to understand that. So an unknown person withdrew a large amount of money out of the stable coin, and then went in turn and opened a big short position against Luna, because the two of them are connected. Luna is backed by the stable coin UST, and so the person took the money out, and that was what created the drop that you see in both of the both the stable coin and the actual coin. So also another thing that happened yesterday was that about $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin was moved from a wallet that was tied to the Luna Foundation, and then was moved to try and to buy some Bitcoin. I think in total here you have it 42,530 Bitcoin worth of investment, if you will. But this was done only to try and bring some stability to the stable coin from Luna, to try to mitigate some of the damage that had taken place, and try to avoid basically total collapse. As you can see here, a drop of 60 cents. It's a massive drop. So it will be interesting to see how long, or how quickly if at all, the coin goes back up to 99 cents or $1. And that is yet now what's pending when it comes to this. So of course the whole thing very, very worrisome, very concerning, and that was in turn also another element that caused the drop that we saw here, of course, for Luna, but not just for Luna, but for Bitcoin as well. And in fact, you see here, whale alert, for example, 12,531 Bitcoins were transferred from one unknown wallet to another unknown wallet, and that was precisely this that I just mentioned, to try and bring some stability to the drop that was worth $750 million worth of Bitcoin. So yeah, very, very, very concerning, and interesting to see here what's going to happen. Of course, that brought some stability, but didn't last very long, And now all that remains to be seen is, what happens next. Now let's go very, very quickly before we end today's video to have a look at Ethereum, where you see we have a nice bounce that right now brings us to $2,420 more or less. If everything goes according to plan, then the journey to $2,500 is relatively easy, and then we can have a V formation. But that all depends, of course, on what Bitcoin does. So if Bitcoin falls, Ethereum falls. If Bitcoin remains stable, then we might have a chance here with Ethereum to keep pushing back to previous price levels. In any case, thank you so much for your support. Keep an eye on what is happening with Luna. That, as you can see, affects not just Luna, but affects the entire market. And I hope that you have a great day. Have a wonderful day today, and all the best. Ciao, ciao.